What the fuck is up, everybody? What are we talking about today? Well, as you can see, we're actually going to be doing something different. I made the promise to you guys that we would do not just movie reviews, but rankings. But I've been only ranking movies. So I'm trying to keep my promise, and we're going to rank something different. I mentioned before when I started this project books, movies, comic books, music, video games. But I decided I'm going to stick to my word, and we're going to go with this. We're going to go with this tier list, but finding what to do exactly, that was hard because I'm a gamer, but I'm a picky gamer, all right? I don't like a lot of newer games, so I'm just going back to my childhood, all right? This is straight from my childhood all the way up to, well, now. And, the Grand Theft Auto franchise is one of the most beloved franchises of all time. I figured this is something that we all share, left or right, really. This is a place where we don't talk politics. I'm just throwing it out there. This is something I figured, hey, it's good food for everybody. That's why this show exists. It's so we can turn our brains off and listen to me talk about my opinions. I'm glad you guys are here. Thank you for watching. Now, let's explain how this is going to work with the tiers. So basically, the way I have it set up is we're going to be doing, let's see here. So I changed up the way you would typically do this. I've seen some people do S tier, A tier. That's what me and my buddy Austin do on the Great Girth. I chose to change this up a little bit and kind of choose my own words per se. So up top, we have Gold Standard. That is the best, one of the best fucking games in the franchise. That's what Gold Standard means. Then you got How I Miss My Child. This is basically like a 4-star. This is fuck, man. This makes me think of the 90s. Makes me, well, for you, whatever age, whatever group you're born in, it makes you think of that. That's what How I Miss My Childhood is. Third rank, we got, I played it quite a bit. I think that's like a fair assessment. That would be like a 3-star type of rating. Number 4 is It's Alright, and it's not great. It's definitely not amazing. Probably a little bit bad. That's what It's Alright is. We all have played games that are alright. They're okay. Finally, we have We'll Never Play It Again. And I know this seems harsh, but this is really how I view some things in life, such as video games, movies, and when it comes to video games, specifically the Grand Theft Auto franchise, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Some games just would never play it again. All right, here we go. Okay. So there's really no order that I'm doing this in. I'm kind of just going based on pretty much how this has been set up. The only thing I changed on this tier list was the rankings. Everything else that you see, the pin images, all that stuff, hey, that was thrown in there by the awesome tier list community. So thank you guys. Coming in at number 1, the OG, the original Grand Theft Auto. I have played this game a handful of times. Here's the thing. So when I was introduced to this game, it was after I played Grand Theft Auto 3. 3 is my introduction to the franchise. So I played this one a handful of times. However, I just really wasn't into it. Yeah, it might have a lot to do with my age group, but then again, I was born around the time this game came out. I was just a little tyke, so couldn't play it, but played it. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I really have never played it ever since. Like I said, I played it a bunch of times when I was younger, just to understand what I didn't quite get, since again, my introduction was part 3. So honestly, guys, I'm gonna have to put the very first one here at We'll Never Play It Again. Hate to be that guy, but unfortunately, that's just where we're at with it right now. Okay, so then our next one, I'm assuming that we have 2 that look the same. I'm going to assume that that's the Grand Theft Auto London 60s edition. Again, played it a handful of times. It's okay, I probably wouldn't play this again. I would almost put it at It's alright, because it's alright. It's not bad. This is more of an upgrade from Grand Theft Auto. I also believe it's an upgrade from Grand Theft Auto 2 as well. But again, it's one that I have no intention of playing it again. So that's pretty much where we're sticking this one. Because the other one looks exactly alike, I'm just going to go ahead and leave that alone. Now, GTA 2, again, same thing. I played this game a handful of times just to see what I was missing. Wasn't missing much, in my opinion. So again, sorry for all you OG fans out there. I'm kind of slapping my own generation in the face with this, but I'm going to go ahead and put GTA 2 at We'll Never Play It Again. So now that we have those out of the way, we can get to the juicy stuff. I know, but like I said, my introduction was GTA 3. And so when this came out, I was not allowed to play it for obvious reasons. I was probably like 9 or 10 years old when this game came out. Maybe a little bit younger than that, actually. But when it came out, my parents were very wary of it. At the same time, they were playing it too, though. So my parents were young. My mom met my stepfather when he was in his 20s. So as you can imagine, they were young. They were young parents. They were young kids. They had a PlayStation. So as I got pretty spoiled as a kid. I had cool parents. But they played Grand Theft Auto 3. I couldn't. I had to sneak into their room to play it when they weren't looking. I had to go hang out with friends that had cool parents that let them play it. So because of that, I didn't really get to play this game very much until later in life. Again, I played it a bunch of times to know what it is, to understand the craze, to understand the hype, and to know that I'm behind. I need to get on board with this trend. That wouldn't come until the next entry in the chapter, though. But with all that out of the way, Grand Theft Auto 3 as a whole, it's a revolutionary game. That's what started it all. It's huge. I meet a lot of people that they talk about this game versus Vice City and San Andreas, but then it's vice versa. Everybody has their, like, this is the definitive one. However, it's fair to say that we can put some respect on its name. When you look at it, it hasn't aged well in terms of graphics, but I mean, realistically, what game has? I think it's fair to say that a lot of the games that have terrible graphics end up being some of the classics that we remember in life. So aside from the quality, story, and it's great, I actually love that our main character doesn't talk. I love that there's not a lot of background with him, just enough for you to kind of understand what you're doing. I love the characters. A lot of actors in this that are like grade A, not just voice actors. Most people don't know that, but it's got a modern day setting. A lot of people, they tend to, when they think about this game, I guess they always think about the fucking problems that came with it. What I mean by that is, and every game has this issue, but Grand Theft Auto 3 especially, it had been hit by so much criticism because of like different things, dude. You can blame Christians, you can blame whatever, but different things. There were tons of reasons why this game kind of got blacklisted for a while for parents anyway. Like, this was a game that, they'd said, oh, it's terrible for youth. It's a scary warning sign for America's youth. But because of all that, this game is revolutionary, dude. This game revolutionized how we play video games. In my opinion, I would argue this is the one that started it all. This is the one that went, oh shit, we have something big here. And I don't know if you know this, but they actually did not know that. These guys had no idea what they had. Once they had all the software to make this game and kind of do it different from what they had done with the prior games, because you got to remember, the first couple games were still stuck in like that 2D mode, like the top down screen kind of style, like arcade style. That's what the first couple Grand Theft Auto games were. Now 3, that was very different. They had a whole different setup. So even for how corny it looks, or how cheesy it looks, even with all the updated things that we get, there's a deluxe edition now, there's various different things that we get. But honestly, it's better than those first couple games for that reason. But because it was so new, they just had no clue what to work with. If that makes any sense, that's what I'm trying to say. Had a brain fart moment, but I'm glad I finally nailed that point home. Grand Theft Auto 3, to me, though, I'm willing to put respect on its name. It is a legendary game. Like I said, it started it all. Honestly, I think I'm going to have to stick it, though, at I played it quite a bit. Because I did. Once I got a hold of it, I played it quite a bit. Great game. Not nearly as good as some of these other ones. So, and you know what, dude? Honestly, I'm just going to hop right into it. This next one, my personal favorite in the entire franchise, Grand Theft Auto Vice City. And because of my bias, it's getting stuck right the fuck at gold standard. Look, that is me being a biased motherfucker, but you also have to look at it like this. Find one person that doesn't like this game. Exactly. Even some of these new young cats are playing these games and they're like, holy shit, these are pretty cool for being old ass games. Bro, this is the game that most people talk about when it comes to Grand Theft Auto. If not this one, definitely San Andreas. Now, we've got a whole generation of kids that grew up off of Grand Theft Auto 5, which makes total sense. Now, I'm an old cat, grew up way before 5, man. Literally, I grew up in the 90s when we had all these other games. So, to me, this was revolutionary as well. And because my access to Grand Theft Auto 3 was so limited, when I had the ability to get Vice City, I played it left and right. I had a stepbrother that had a copy of it. Man, I fucked up his shit playing it all the time. I couldn't tell you how many bugs I gave his PlayStation because we had those emulator discs that you would put, or they were designed to be emulators, but they had like the cheat codes. I think you know what I'm talking about. They would fuck up your PlayStation, dude. These were made for these games, but they were not made for your system. So you would put it in, it would fuck up the game, or it would fuck up your system entirely and give it AIDS. Anyway, that was fun to do. Now, fast forward. When I got to middle school, dude, this game was re-released. And I think the re-released version is on here as well on the tier list. We'll get to that in a second. But it was re-released. The graphics were a little bit updated, not nearly like where we're at with the deluxe definitive edition, whatever. But they had updated the graphics a little bit. I remember buying it, owned it on Xbox, and it was probably like the most played game in my Xbox collection. See, I had cool parents, but I also had cheap parents. And what I mean by that is I got an Xbox the year that 360 came out. So I didn't get any new games. I didn't get any new anything. I was always a system behind with everybody, or a generation behind, I should say. So because of that, I was playing Vice City while everybody was playing Grand Theft Auto 4 and all the other new games. I had to kind of like slowly catch up. Vice City, man, oh my God, the story, dude, the characters, the dialogue. I mean, you can argue that this game is basically a ripoff of like Scarface, Carlito's Way, Heat, all types of mafia movies. I mean, excuse me. That's the thing with these games, dude, is that they pretty much take a lot of ideas from mafioso or crime films and they implement them in the video game. Because I remember being a kid and everybody around me, including myself, was like, dude, I can't wait till they come out with a Grand Theft Auto movie. And it's like, yeah, that's kind of hard to do because Grand Theft Auto literally steals all of its, well, not steals, but it gets inspiration from all these crime films. And if you are a crime fan, if you're a mafia fan, if you're a Narcos guy, this is your game. It's my game, dude. It's my go-to. I love all these games equally, and they all hold a different place on this list. But to me, this one's the best one. I'm willing to die on that hill. I know that people love 5. I love it too. It's fucking, that's even more revolutionary. But I'm still willing to die on the hill that Vice City is the best game in the Grand Theft Auto franchise, purely on story, purely on nostalgia, so many different things. But the only real complaint I have about this game is it's one of those games where you're like, fuck, man, to this day it still hits, but there's so much that you wish they would do with it now. I mean, they've released so many versions of these games where you're just like, dude, we have the ability to remaster them. Why not mod them? We already mod the fuck out of Call of Duty and Grand Theft Auto, especially GTA Online, you know? Like, it makes no sense why we don't do that. Anyway, story's amazing, though. I mean, if you play this game, dude, Malibu Club, what does that remind you of? Carlito's Way, a little bit of Scarface. Dude, the Vercetti Estate when you kill Diaz. What does that fucking look like? Straight out of Scarface almost, man. Like, they change up a little bit, but even Paul Rosenberg, who does he look like from Carlito's Way? Right. There's just a lot in this game that when you see it, you have that appreciation for those movies and you have that appreciation for that game. It goes full circle, man. This one holds a special place in my heart. This is one of the best ones. All right, moving on. Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. Dude, we're just going to put this one right where it belongs, in gold standard. I'm one of those guys that I got this game right away when it came out, and my mom was fucking furious, dude. She had read about how horrible it was, how you shouldn't give it to your kids, and how you really shouldn't buy it for your kids. But anyway, she wanted to be a cool mom. She got it for me. I loved it. Because of the fact that this game came out right around the time where I was fully immersed in the hip hop scene. I was really into Eminem, Ice Cube, because again, I grew up, well, I was raised in the 90s, you know, so my parents listened to Ice Cube and Tupac and all that stuff. So I collectively listened to it as well. But when this game came out, that's when I was really into like the hip hop, Compton, you know, LA culture, I guess, of that era. And that's what this game really picks up on. It takes place in the 90s. And dude, everything in there is a clear reference to 90s LA, 90s Compton. It's amazing. This is Vice City upside down, 10 times better. There's so much more you can do. You can work out in this. Dude, the map is vast. Like, one thing I will say that is weird when you compare Grand Theft Auto 3 and Vice City to San Andreas. 3 obviously had a huge map. Vice City's map, I would argue, is a lot smaller. I mean, I guess it's kind of the same as 3, but Liberty City seems to be a lot bigger, at least in those old gen games. So it was weird to me that you had this semi-big map and then you went to an island, basically, because Vice City is essentially Miami, which, whatever. But then San Andreas it's supposed to be a city within Los Santos, which is basically Los Angeles. Or I think I had that right, yeah. I might have fucked that up, actually, I don't know. But you get what I mean. So that being said, I was fully immersed in it. And I remember the map, because of the fact that this one had the bigger map, I was just blown away by it. I was like, holy shit, dude, there's no way that it can get any better. And it does, of course. But to me, this one was like, it's huge, man. This is one of those games where, just like Vice City, it was ahead of its time, man. San Andreas had so much more that you could do. You could have girlfriends in this, dude, and you could fuck them too. I don't know if you knew that. I would argue, though, this is one of those games that, as much as I love it, as much as it's gold standard, I don't play it as much as a lot of these other games. I still do, because you got to remember, I have a copy of each of these on my Xbox, on my fucking phone. Yeah, you can get Grand Theft Auto on your iPhone and Androids. I don't know if you guys knew that, but like, you can get the OG ones, and god damn, dude, as somebody that grew up off of those, it's like heaven being able to play them. The only real complaint I have about San Andreas, honest truth, CJ's like, the storyline, the backdrop with CJ's mom and his friends and stuff like that, it's fine, but you can see it like coming a mile away. I would argue that San Andreas, for what it's worth, had the most predictable storyline of all these fucking video games. But again, I guess you can kind of say the same thing about the rest of them. I just feel personally that San Andreas felt like something I've seen before in a movie. But again, these games take all their stuff from these movies. Like, I would argue that San Andreas is a clear representation of Menace to Society, Boys in the Hood, anything and everything, 90s, hip-hop, rap, early 2000s, Death Row era. I mean, hey, I mentioned that in these games, you have a lot of like big actors that voice some of these characters. This is another one where they do that. Coming in next, it's going to be, oh, dude. So this one, I got a funny story to tell. Grand Theft Auto Liberty City Stories. This one, I'm going to be honest with you guys, is going to go to, oh, how I miss my childhood. So I got this game because of the fact that this came out around the time that PlayStation Portable had just come out. PSP, the very first, ahead of its time. I begged my mom up and down. I said, Mom, I want Liberty City Stories. It's on PSP. Like, please, I really, really want it. She knew that. She knew it was also on PlayStation 2, but so she bought it for me on PlayStation 2 at first. I lost that game at some point. Couldn't find it. Pissed me off. So then, that year for Christmas, my dad had gotten me the game. I remember opening it up at his house, and I was like, wait a minute, I don't have a PSP. Like, what the fuck? And, he broke it to me like, oh boy, we got you a PSP, your mom and I. So got my PSP, Liberty City Stories, man, I was glued. Besides Medal of Honor 2 Heroes, I was glued to this game. The story is even better. Here's my argument, all right? Liberty City Stories is what Grand Theft Auto 3 should have been. Grand Theft Auto 3 is cool. I respect it. I respect its legacy. I just don't care for it as much as Liberty City Stories. And Liberty City Stories, for what it's worth, it's not as good as the rest of these games. However, I like the gameplay. I love all the functions. The only real complaint I have is this one is kind of like, it's funky because there's not a lot of safe house locations. Like, it's not like Vice City where you could buy them. That was weird. That was missing. Where the fuck is that? Like, you would go to them. That's how the mission would take you to these safe locations, safe houses. And like, that kind of sucked because whereas San Andreas and Vice City, you could buy property all over the map. So it was weird that in this one, you just couldn't do that. And it was also weird that in San Andreas, you could fucking swim, but Liberty City Stories, you suddenly couldn't. I mean, allegedly, the waters are toxic. So nobody swims in it. I heard that from a YouTuber, 616 Entertainment. However, it was just, that's something that bothered me too, but I love the gameplay otherwise. I love the vehicles in this. I love the car function. So a lot of these games, it's out of fucking whack when you're driving a vehicle, whether it's a motorcycle, it doesn't matter what it is. But this one, I would argue, had some of the best handling, specifically for bicycles. Just kidding. No, the crotch rockets, those were amazing on this one, because what I loved about Vice City was that all those crotch rockets, all those small motorcycles, they were fast as shit. But oh my god, dude, they were so sensitive. It didn't matter which way you moved your analog stick, dude, it would fuck you. In here, it's a lot better. The handling is way better. Story is pretty good. I like the story. As far as I know, it's a prequel, actually. I think it takes place before GTA 3. Can't quite remember. These games kind of jump all over. Like, one thing I loved about Vice City was the fact that they took you to the 80s. And that's one thing that like really had my mom's attention and my dad's attention. They were like, dude, there's like 80s music in this. All the cars look like they're from the 80s. What the hell? And it's like, yeah, it takes place in the 80s. And they were just like blown away by it, because they were like, well, you kids don't even like our music or any of that stuff. What the hell? So, it was different for them to see that, if that makes sense. Not quite sure where I was going with that one. But Liberty City Stories, because of the limited function in terms of like buying property and how fucking difficult it was to lose the police in it. It made it a very hard game to want to keep picking up as much as Vice City and some of these other ones. All right, moving on. Grand Theft Auto, not Liberty City Stories. Oh, yeah, Vice City Stories. So I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I have been searching up and down for this game because I can't find it anywhere except for on PSP. If I'm not mistaken, that's the only place it's really at. I am gonna be honest. This is it's a game. The functions in this was just terrible. I don't like the gameplay at all. I don't like it has what Vice City should have had. So in Vice City, when I mentioned that it has like all the Scarface-esque references and stuff, Vice City Stories has like the actual Scarface, Carlito's Way stuff in it, meaning you can run locations that you have to defend, that they sell drugs, they make you money, blah, 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 whatever. Just like in Vice City, where you would have properties you'd collect cash from. Well, these ones, you build the properties, you defend them, you have gangs, and you got to go help every time they're fucking under attack, which is fine. That was a concept in San Andreas. Not a big deal. Willing to put up with it. But, dude, the story in this is super fucking boring. The story is just ass. Nobody cares. We already kind of know because this literally takes place like what, a few years or 10 years before fucking Vice City. So we already get like an idea of where this is going. And there's like some new things in there, like Sunshine Autos, the dirt road that's next to it is a fucking trailer park, which is like, that's weird. That's different. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of fucking a little off the rail, but whatever. I just didn't care for the story for that reason. I cared nothing for the character of Vic Vance, which is Lance Vance's brother. We know exactly what happens to him. This was just a very underwhelming Grand Theft Auto. Like I said, Liberty City Stories wasn't the best, but I liked it. You know, I thought it was a pretty good game. It had great story. It was a decent follow-up, but you can tell these were games that were just meant to be side stories. And Liberty City Stories, for what it's worth, is a good side story. Vice City Stories, on the other hand, not so much. But because I haven't played it in so long and because it's getting so difficult to find, I want to fucking know where it's at. If any of you know where it's at, please comment below and let me know. All right. Next game we have is Grand Theft Auto 4. A lot of people love this one. I played it a handful of times. Again, I didn't play this one until later in life. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I didn't play Grand Theft Auto 4 until after I played 5, which was a couple years ago. The reason why is because Grand Theft Auto 4 had come out when I was like in middle school, high school area. I had pretty much gone out of my Grand Theft Auto phase. I was pretty much into Call of Duty by then. I was into a lot of stuff. I didn't have a 360 or a PlayStation 3, so I couldn't afford it. But I played it later in life, and you know, I got to be honest. I'm definitely going to be putting that one at its eye. A lot of people are going to be upset about this. That might be a controversial decision, but I don't care for the story. That's the biggest thing. I just don't care for the story at all. Functions are fine. Gameplay is not an issue. Another issue I have, maybe this is because it's my TV and my Xbox, but dude, I don't like the way the graphics look in this game. It looks blurry. It has a lens bloom, which is very similar to like the deluxe edition for fucking Grand Theft Auto Vice City. Like, you know, that lens flare shit is so annoying. That boom, dude. That's what was in this when I had gotten it for my Xbox. And again, it's not a remastered version. It's just a regular ass copy. Maybe it's my TV, maybe it's my Xbox. I don't quite know. I'm not that good of a tech person, but I will say this. The lens boom, the blurriness, the way this game looks is just ugly. And I don't know if that's anyone else's experience. Maybe that's just mine, but it looks ugly. I just don't like how everything looks so fucking blurry and it takes a minute for it to catch up to you. All these games have their glitches and their problems, but dude, this one, it just looks really, really fucking blurry. I read somewhere that was done intentionally to have a gritty New York feel, and it's like, dude, that looks like you can't see shit. But whatever, you know. The cars in this are pretty cool. I like the cars in this one. And I do like that it's a more expanded Liberty City. For those of you that don't know, Liberty City is obviously New York. I love the expansion of it. I like how it's bigger. There's much more you can do. I just don't care about the story. And like I said, the fucking graphics look like shit in my opinion. But what can you do for 2000 whatever? All right. Coming up next, you know what? I'm actually going to get these out of the way real quick because here's the thing. I didn't like Grand Theft Auto 4, but I did like these. I played it quite a bit, The Lost and the Damned, which was again, like an expansion pack. It was a separate game for Grand Theft Auto 4, if you will, a separate chapter, a smaller chapter. There we go. I actually enjoyed it. I played it quite a bit. It was, in my opinion, just a better story. This would have been way cooler to have as the main story than what we got. Which leads us to the next one. Again, another expansion one, but we got Grand Theft Auto 4, The Ballad of Gay Tony. Pisses me off that that's the name of this, man. That's bullshit. But again, I played it quite a bit. I enjoyed it. I thought it was way better than the main Grand Theft Auto 4 storyline. That says something. That's not necessarily a good thing. But again, this is all based on my opinion. I just thought that the stories were better. Gameplay is basically the same in my opinion. Aside from Ballad of Gay Tony, it's practically the same fucking graphics as 4, so that doesn't change much. Only in Ballad of Gay Tony does it look very classy and a little bit different. Otherwise, it's pretty much the same fucking thing. Now, let's get down to brass tacks. We're gonna have to get this one out of the way as well. So there's one on here that just says Grand Theft Auto. I'm assuming this is like the deluxe, or not the deluxe, I'm sorry. This has to be the 20th anniversary release. Yeah, this was somewhere around the line that I was in middle school. This was when they released the big three: San Andreas, Vice City, and Grand Theft Auto 3. You know, I didn't buy it, but I saw that it had the updated graphics, and I will say it looks pretty classy. It makes me think of my childhood. Oh, how I miss my childhood. I know that makes no sense considering that literally it's a remake of those 3 games that are amazing, but I don't care for a lot of remastered stuff. I don't care for a lot of, like, you know, deluxe editions. I don't care for a lot of that stuff. Sometimes I do. It depends what it is. Grand Theft Auto really isn't one of them, so I don't have a lot to say on that one. I do on the deluxe definitive editions, though. Coming in next at whatever number we're at, so I've lost track of that. Grand Theft Auto Chinatown Wars. So this one, oh man, I played it quite a bit. I really did enjoy this one. I know a lot of people hated it because of, again, it has that top-down feel that the original games do. But if you remember at the beginning of this video, I had said that those don't have what a later game has, which this one has it. Okay, so it's the exact same thing, top-down arcade style, with a better story, not good controls. But for being, you know, a thing that was originally supposed to be released on Nintendo DS, which I think it was anyway, I had gotten it on PSP. And later in life, I found out it was available in the Apple Store, so I bought it there. I liked this because to me, it was just a little bit more entertaining. This had what I said again, those earlier games just were missing. It was that fun, thrilling storyline aspect. The controls, though, are fucking crazy. If you try playing this game, dude, and you're driving a car, doesn't matter what car it is, dude. It's like this game is almost impossible to play because of how fucking sensitive everything is, but I think that's what makes it fun. This is definitely a put it in your pocket arcade mode style game that is totally worth playing if you ever obsess about being a drug dealer, which I do. Now, of course, the granddaddy of them all, the big one, right? Grand Theft Auto 5. Where do we put this one? Well, I think it's pretty obvious this is going to go to gold standard. Very clearly a gold standard game. Like I said, it's not my favorite, but I fully understand why it's taken some time for us to get another Grand Theft Auto. Look at this masterpiece. Look at how big the map was, dude. I remember this game came out when I was well out of my mom's house, off into the real world as an adult. One of my younger brothers had it, and I was just like, damn, dude, they're still making Grand Theft Auto games? Hell yeah. He showed it to me, and not gonna lie, I was taken aback. I was not a fan at first. So you gotta remember, I grew up with those old Grand Theft Auto games. So to me, Grand Theft Auto was supposed to look cartoonish. It took a minute for me to realize, well, I'm getting old. The world is changing. Graphics are better. That's just how it is. But because of that, it rubbed me the wrong way, and I just didn't want to play it. So I straight refused to play this game until probably like 2016, 2017. Yeah, it was like a couple years after it came out. I refused up and down to play it just because I was like, man, the graphics, I don't like that shit. I don't like that. It's not San Andreas. I don't fucking like that. Well, I put my old man in me aside, played it. I was blown away, dude. Especially the fact that you can fuck strippers on this. I know how crazy that is to say online, but like, dude, that was every kid's dream playing these games. Like, we could never do that. We could never accomplish it. You could just pick up a hooker, take her into an alleyway, and the car goes, meh. and then it's done. You get like 25 extra health. She leaves, you pop her, get your money back, and that's it. We never got to see titties. We never got to have phones where you can call them and take them out on little dates. Like, dude, the vastness of this map, of this game, dude, is huge. Like, there is so much you can do if you don't even want to play the game, which is awesome because that's what made Grand Theft Auto so cool. It is cool when you have more than just the gameplay at hand. Like, instead of just the main mission, the campaign, it's nice when there's solo things that you can do, not just being a cop or being an ambulance driver or a pizza boy, but literally hanging out with buds. You can call them, you can go get drunk with them, or you can go to the movies with them, or you can go golf with them. Shit, dude, you can fly planes and jets in this. You can fly over a prison and get shot down. There's a lot you can do with this game, and that's kind of why I like it. I love how sophisticated it is. I love that it is much harder. It is a much more challenging game. Like, it's super realistic, dude. That's why, to me, it's a gold standard game. It revolutionized Grand Theft Auto to the point that we have the one and only Grand Theft Auto Online. I will also put this at gold standard, but I'm going to be honest with you guys. Grand Theft Auto Online, if it were up to me, if I was being blatantly honest, I would probably put it at, I played it quite a bit because I really don't play Grand Theft Auto Online a lot. However, it's where it's at for the same reason as 5. I respect its legacy. I respect the fact that it revolutionized and it changed the game of Grand Theft Auto, the industry. I mean, dude, look at where we're at. It's 10 plus years and we still don't have another one yet. Even though we got confirmation and a trailer, we'll get to that. Just hold on. We had to wait so long, and honestly, they finally did it, right? They finally did the online mode because this was something that was talked about all the way back to Vice City, dude. Do your research. There is rumblings of them trying to do this shit online for a very, very long time, and they just didn't have the capability to do it yet. This game came out, and they still didn't have the capability to do it yet. It took time, and then finally Grand Theft Auto Online opened up for the whole world, and dude, it changed everything to the point that I would argue that it kind of made sense why we didn't get another Grand Theft Auto soon. So we'll see what happens. You can tell that with online and how they mod everything now, we don't really need like a GTA 6 and 7 and all that, because just like Call of Duty, you could just call it Season 6, Season 7, whatever, you know. At this point, it's going to become a streaming services that you pay for, which you young kids are already used to. For someone old like me, that's annoying. But that's where we'll leave that. Now, we have 2 more of these we got to talk about. So we're going to be putting Grand Theft Auto, the Deluxe Definitive Edition. I'm going to put it at, it's all right. I played them. I do like that the graphics are updated. That's cool. It looks pretty. It looks nice. Very pristine. Not a fan of the fact that they didn't update anything else. There's like no other add-ons, nothing. It's like you have the ability to do it at this point. Yes, you're probably fucking around with some old stuff, but you're going through and you're updating the entire game. Why not add shit? And that's just my experience with 3 and Vice City. I don't actually know about San Andreas. I haven't even touched that one yet when it comes to the Definitive Deluxe Edition. But that's why it's in my opinion. I would rather go play the old shitty versions than the updated graphic version. All right, so I don't know why Grand Theft Auto 6 is on here because it's not even been released yet, so that's not really something we can put on this tier list, but let's talk about it a little bit. A little bit as in I'm excited for it. I don't know about you guys, but this is a game that I've waited my whole life for. If you couldn't tell, City to me is AO number 1. It's the best game in the franchise in my opinion. I have been dying for them to go back to Vice City because like I said, when they did it with Vice City Stories, super underwhelming. It just was like, how, man? You guys really fucking missed the mark. So I hope that they don't miss the mark this time with GTA 6. It looks really good. I'm fucking stoked. I know you guys are, but there you have it, folks. This is Tony's official tier list ranking of the Grand Theft Auto franchise. Thank you again for watching, and I will see you on the next one.